Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Phil Brown. I live on South Tyneside in South Shields. I'm a nurse. I've nursed 40 years. I'm busy campaigning and fighting to keep the key core and essential services at our local hospital. I've been putting out posts for over 97 days as different periods of consultation are foisted upon us by South Tyneside Foundation Trust. They're all unnecessary because we're going to court next month in December, and the time will come round very quickly now. We're due to go to court down in Leeds on the 18th, 19th and 20th of December. It could be possible that we just have to go to Newcastle, and it might not take 3 days for a judge to give a decision. Obviously, the outcome of that, I guess we'll have to abide by it. I've always maintained we will keep our hospital. We're certainly fighting for it in the right direction. The case is overwhelming in our favour because we are a population of 167,000 people. And if we're grafted onto the Sunderland facilities, their population combined with ours will go to something like 420,000 people. And Sunderland Royal, bless them, at this point in time, they're struggling to cope in every direction. They will not be able to take 17,000 extra children per year, plus 63,000 adults. That's an increase of 80,000 referrals through their A&E departments. Our children's A&E is a 24-hour consultant-led service, and they want to pinch it from South Tyneside and hive it off and take it to Sunderland. We're not going to allow for that. You see, our trust is in the black. Sunderland Trust is in the red. They will have very shortly of a debt between 127 million and 147 million. Between the two trusts, there is a gentleman, Mr. Ken Bremner, who's the chief executive. Guy in South Tyneside jumped ship. All right, you can give Mr. Bremner a round of applause for saving on his salary for the NHS, but that's a mere drop in the ocean. We believe he should go to the health secretary and say, you know, Mr. Hancock, we can't go on like this. We just can't go on. The money has got to be found. Now, you could say, oh, you know, like Thatcher when she called us, what was it, moaning minis at the height of the Falklands War, and yet we finished off the Atlantic conveyor for the armed forces. She called us moaning minis. Get north of the Watford Gap, nobody counts in the northeast, as far as the Tories are concerned. But they're going to have to challenge this government loud and clear. And we're not moaning up here. We're not moaning minis. We're fighting for our hospital and our future and our care provision. And it will be a dangerous landscape just to close down our A&E and children's A&E, maternity and special care baby unit, and then move it in the direction that they're moving in. They can't cope with Sunderland. They haven't got the space. They haven't got the facilities. And then we hear leakage, almost bold sort of statements now, that the plan is somebody's pipe dream, oh, well, we'll move it out towards sort of central Durham or maybe northeast, northwest Durham, to encompass like Sedgefield, Bishop Auckland and down towards, you know, Hartlepool and Easington. It won't work. It won't work because first it would have to be built, and at what cost? Yeah? So that tells me in the short term, all the 17 acres of land around South Tyneside Hospital, they'll be flogged off. And if you think I'm making this up, last year there was a Rayner report, Naylor report, sorry, I do apologise, the Naylor report. And the Naylor report said, you know, sell whatever you can to make money for the NHS. Great in the short term, future logistical planning and development of the service, because, you know, this government will not last forever. The Tories are not going to be in a dynasty for 1,000 years. They're not going to be there. But then you'll be blocked because the land that's sold off will either be bought back at great cost, or there just won't be any prospect of further development. So we continue to fight every day. We're fighting. We're going to court in Leeds on the 18th, 19th and 20th of December, unless we can have the hearing for our hospital moved up to Newcastle. But it's all kinds of facilities at the moment, everywhere being squeezed. We're also fighting for South Shields School at the moment, which is in, if you like, special measures, and the prospect of not having a backup for an academy is a worry to many parents. Friday night I met with Angela Rayner, hopefully one of our future education secretaries in an incoming Labour government, and she's well aware of our campaign there as well. So we're fighting on all levels, but when you look and see that we're hemorrhaging NHS professionals, not just nurses and midwives, but doctors now and radiographers, And because of that, specialist units are going to wall. Down in Essex, there's a specialist oncology unit that is having to close in 2 days' time, or go on to drastically reduce working because they haven't got the radiographers. People are walking away, and it's not just in hospitals or schools with teachers. They're walking out to prisons. The POA, the Prison Officers Association, they're fighting for their members. They're being attacked every day, and that drains morale. The police, they're being attacked. They haven't got the men, women, or the morale to continue. And tragically in London, we're seeing the most appalling knife crime, and then a knee-jerk reaction, we'll bring in 100 and odd extra officers. But it's the fear factor on the streets. Talking of which, our chief executive is putting together documents for us saying, there's going to be a tsunami of financial issues to do with South Tyneside Hospital, or a tidal wave of pressures on the NHS. It's bad enough when there's real fear on the streets, but then to, drum up the fear factor, to play on people's emotions and fears and insecurities, I think is unforgivable. We don't do that as nurses, but if we have to, we'll end on this and say, I believe that in South Tyneside, people's lives will be put at risk by not only the plans of South Tyneside NHS Trust and its CCGs and the Sunderland CCGs, when we finally see what the plans are, but short, medium and long term, lives will be put at risk. And that's not done to raise your fears. It's a fact. There just won't be the provision, and people will suffer as well into the bargain. This is happening all over the country. Please share this post on Facebook and on YouTube now as we fight for the NHS, because they are trying to privatise our NHS. They're trying to sell it off, and it is in distress. This is a time of NHS SOS and SOS for the public services. Please share, please fight. See you tomorrow.